Good morning, all of you. Today, we are going to discuss the Indian economy ODL of Wales University, Unit 9, Planning and Economic Growth. This is the first unit in the Block 3. In this class, we are going to discuss about different 5-year plans, right from first 5-year plan to 12th 5-year plan, and then the NITI AAYOG. So these are the topics today we are going to cover. The purpose of this particular unit is to make the student familiar with different 5-year plans implemented by Government of India and planning and economic growth implemented by NITI AAYOG. Let us get into the class. The economic growth and development of India are achieved through series of 5-year plans after the independence. There are 12 5-year plans with 3 rolling plans. The highlight points of each 5-year plan we will see one by one. The first 5-year plan started in 1951. It was launched duration between 1951 to 56 under the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru. It was based on Harrod-Domar model with few modifications. The main focus was the agriculture development of the country. This plan was successful and achieved the rate of 3.6%, more than the target of 2.1%. At the end of this plan, 5 IITs were set up in the country, Indian Institute of Technology. So the first 5-year plan is based on the Harrod-Domar model with few modifications, and it's very successful implementation. So in continuation with the first 5-year plan, the Government of India have implemented the second 5-year plan. The period is 1956 to 1961 under the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru again. It was based on P.C. Mahalanobis model made in the year 1953. So the first 5-year plan is the Harrod-Domar model. The second 5-year plan is Mahalanobis model. The main focus was the industrial development of the country. This plan lags behind its target growth of 4.5% and achieved growth of 4.27. To some extent, it is successful. However, this plan was criticized by many experts. As a result, India faced a payment crisis in the year 1957. So the first 5-year plan for agriculture development, the second 5-year plan for industrial development, and the Government of India have implemented the third 5-year plan with a duration 1961 to 66 under the leadership of our former Prime Jawaharlal Nehru. This plan is also Gadgil Yojana after the Deputy Chairman Planning Commission of D.R. Gadgil. The main target of this plan was to make an economy independent. The stress was laid on agriculture and improvement in the production of wheat. During the execution of this plan, India was engaged in 2 wars. One is, as you know, Indo-War in 1962 and Indo-Pakistani War in 1965. These wars exposed the weakness of our economy and shifted the focus of defense industry and the Indian Army and stabilized the price. India witnessed the inflation during that particular period. The plan was flopped due to wars and drought. The target growth was 5.6, but we achieved only 2.4. So because of this failure and 2 wars, we are not able to implement the 4th 5-year plan immediately. So we have given plan holidays. Due to failure of previous plan, the government announced the 3 annual plans called plan holidays from 1966 to 1969. The main reason behind the plan holidays was Indo-Pakistani War and Sino-Indo War, leading to failure of third 5-year plan. During this period, annual plans were made and equal priority was given to agriculture and its allied sectors, and to some extent to the industrial sector also. So after 3 annual plans, During 1969 to 74, we have implemented the fourth five-year plan under the leadership of Indira Gandhi, former Prime Minister. There were two main objectives of this plan, that is, growth with stability and progressive achievement with self-reliance. During this time, 14 major Indian banks were nationalized and Green Revolution was started. The Indo-Pakistani War of 1971 and Bangladesh Liberation War took place during this particular five-year plan. Implementation of family planning program was amongst the major target of the plan, and this plan failed and could achieve the growth of 3.3% only against the target of 5.7% of growth. Next to that, the fifth five-year plan was implemented between 1974 to 78. This plan focused on employment, justice, agriculture production, and defense. The Electricity Supply Act was amended in 1975. 20-point program was launched in 1975. The minimum need program, we used to call it as MNP, and the Indian National Highway System was introduced during this particular fifth five-year plan. Overall, this plan was successful, which is achieved growth of 4.8 against the target of 4.4%. This plan was terminated in 1978 by newly elected Morarji Desai government. Once a new government is, this particular plan is ended in the end of the fifth year. Then once again, the rolling plan was implemented. After termination of fifth five-year plan, the rolling plan came into effect from 1978 to 1980. In 1980, Congress rejected the rolling plan and a new sixth five-year plan was introduced. Three plans were introduced under the rolling plan. One is for budget of present year. Number two is plan was given a fixed number of years, 3, 4, and 5. And finally, the prospective plan of long term, 10, 15, 20 years. So the government decided there should be a long-term plan rather than the short-term plan. The plan has several advantages as the target could be maintained, the project allocation, etc., were variable of the country's economy. This means that if the target can be amended each year, it would be difficult to achieve the target and will result in destabilization of Indian economy. That is why the government suggested, instead of going for short-term plan, we have to go for the long-term plan. This is a breakthrough in Indian economy. So the sixth five-year plan was implemented between 1980 to 1985 under the leadership of Indira Gandhi. The basic objective of this plan was economic liberalization by eradicating poverty and achieving the technological self-reliance. It was based on investment yojana, infrastructure changing, and trend to growth model. The growth target was 5.2, but we achieved 5.7. So the sixth five-year plan also a successful plan. And during the period of 1985 to 90, the seventh five-year plan was implemented under the leadership of Rajiv Gandhi, former Prime Minister. The objective of this plan include the establishment of self-sufficient economy, opportunities for productive employment, and upgradation of technology. The plan aimed at accelerating food grains production, increasing employment opportunities, and raising the productivity with a focus of food, work, and productivity. For the first time, the private sector got priority over the public sector. The growth target was 5%, but we achieved 6.01%. So, like sixth plan, the seventh plan also a successful plan. Then after that, annual plan was implemented during 1991 and 92. The eighth five-year plan could not take place due to the volatile of political situation at the center. Two annual programs were formed in the period 1991 and 1991-92. Then the eighth five-year plan was implemented between 1992 and 97 under the leadership of former Prime Minister V. Narasimha Rao. This plan as a top priority was given to the development of human resources, that is employment, education, and public health. During this plan, Narasimha Rao government launched a new economic policy in India. Some of the main economic outcomes during the 8th five-year plan were rapid economic growth. The highest annual growth rate so far is 6.8, and high growth of agriculture and allied sector and manufacturing sector. The growth of export and import also taken into account. Improvement in trade and current account deficit also given a due consideration. A high growth rate was achieved even though the share of public sector and total investment had declined considerably, about 34% growth. So the most successful plan is the 8th plan, as we have implemented the liberalization policy. This plan was successful and got the annual growth of 6.8% against the target of 5.6%. The 9th plan, the duration is 1997 to 2002 under the leadership of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. The main focus of this plan was growth with social justice and equality. It was launched in the 50th year of independence of India. This plan failed to achieve the target growth of 6.5% because it achieved only 5.6%. Then, in continuation with the 9th plan, the 10th plan is implemented in 2002 up to 2007. Once again, the leader was Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Manmohan Singh. This plan aimed to double the per capita income of India for the next 10 years. It also aimed to reduce the poverty ratio from 50% by 2012. The growth rate was 8%, but achieved only 7.6%. To some extent, this plan also is very successful. The 11th five-year plan duration is 2007 to 2012. This particular plan under the leadership of former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. It was prepared by C. Rangarajan. And the main theme of this particular five-year plan is rapid and more inclusive growth. It achieved a growth of 8% against the target of 9% growth. Then the 12th five-year plan, the duration is between 2012 to 2017 under the leadership of Manmohan Singh. The main theme was faster, more inclusive, and sustainable growth. The growth rate target was 8%. For a long time, there had been a feeling that the country, as a diverse and big as India, centralized planning could not be beyond the point due to one-size-fits-all approach. Therefore, the NDA government has dissolved the Planning Commission, which was placed in NITI AAYOG. So this is a breakthrough in Indian economy. Why? Because the Planning Commission was abolished and a new apex body called NITI AAYOG was introduced. Thus, there is no 13th five-year plan. However, the five-year plan, defense plan was made, and it is important to note that NITI AAYOG have no final financial role. It will not involve any financial part. It will give only the advice. So the 12th five-year plan have during that particular plan, our finance minister have made one statement: one size fits all approach is not possible. So abolition of Planning Commission and introduction of NITI AAYOG. Now, after this, now let's go to the NITI AAYOG, that is Planning and Economic Growth. The NITI AAYOG is National Institute for Transforming India, that is called NITI AAYOG. It is a policy. It is a think tank established in the 1st January 2015 by Government of India. 15-year roadmap was framed with a 7-year vision, and strategy action plan was framed. Somehow, because of this particular thing, the India get its momentum in economic growth. The Planning Commission was formed in 15th March 1950 and dissolved in 17th August 2014. The Planning Commission of India formulated a five-year plan in this, but it was replaced with the NITI AAYOG. There are many differences between NITI AAYOG and Planning Commission. So you can expect this particular question in section B, and in section C, explain different five-year plans. Let us see the difference between these two. NITI Aayog has not been given mandate or power to impose policy on state, because the NITI Aayog is basically a think tank or a advisory body only, whereas the Planning Commission had the power to impose policy on state and for a project approved by the Planning Commission. The second difference is the power for allocation of fund has not been given to NITI Aayog. The power are with the Finance Ministry only. But in case previously in Planning Commission, they had the power to allocate fund to the state government and various central government ministries for various programs and projects at a national and state level. The third difference is in NITI Aayog, the state government has to play a more proactive role. But in case of Planning Commission, the state government did not have much role to play apart from taking only attending a meeting. The state government role was confined with the National Development Council. That is why the Planning Commission failed in this way. It was replaced with an NITI Aayog. Based on the requirement, there are part-time members appointed in NITI Aayog. The Planning Commission did not have any provision for appointment of part-time members. So if you see the management hierarchy, only 50 people will be there. But in NITI Aayog, there are educationalists, industrialists will be appointed as a part-time member and the policy will be framed. The next difference is the governing council of NITI Aayog has resident governors of union territories and state chief ministers. These are all the permanent members. The National Development Council of Governor and state chief ministers, Planning Commission had to report to the National Development Commission. So the setup is get changed. There is a fixed permanent members in Planning Commission, but here there will be ad hoc appointment of part-time with not only the chief minister of union territory and different states, but also some part-time members will be there. The CEO of NITI Aayog is appointed by Prime Minister. Is known as CEO. So the Prime Minister will appoint the CEO of the NITI Aayog. The Planning Commission Secretary were appointed through usual process. That is a separate legislation. The number of full-time members in NITI Aayog could be lesser than the number of the Planning Commission had. The last Planning Commission had 8 full-time members. Here, less than 8, and some part-time members will be appointed based on the requirement. Under NITI Aayog organization structure, new posts were created, called CEO, Vice Chairperson, and CEO has a rank of Secretary. 4 cabinet members were served as ex officio members. The NITI Aayog has 2 part-time members and 5 full-time members. So apart from 5 full-time members, 2 part-time members, 4 cabinet ministers will be there in the NITI Aayog and no financial part. They will give only the advice and other implementation. They will frame the policy. But in case of Planning Commission, this is having a perfect organization structure consisting of only full-time members, the member secretary and the deputy chairman. The NITI Aayog, the final policy would bear fruit after the consultation or held with the state government in the policy formulation stage itself. But in case of Planning Commission, it will be formulated, policy will be framed with the central, and it will be passed on to the state government without any consulting, because they will allocate the fund and the program and project will be imposed to the state government. That is why it is not much successful. The NITI Aayog is also an executive body, as it is not mentioned in the Constitution of India, and it was not established by the Act of Parliament. However, if needed, it can be converted to statutory body by passing a law of Parliament. For example, the UIDA, our Aadhaar is implemented through this. A new Defense Planning Commission was the executive body, because the Planning Commission has a separate legislation. There is a procedure to give appointment in this. So these are the difference between NITI Aayog and Planning Commission. A compulsory question will be there in the semester and examination. So to sum up this, in this unit, we have studied 12 5-year plans with the 2 rolling plans of 3 years each. And after that particular thing. What is the performance of these 5-year plan and abolition of planning commission and introduction of NITI AAYOG. These are the things we discussed in this unit. The keywords in this particular thing: green revolution, white revolution, digital India, plan holidays. These some of the keywords we are come across in this particular unit. As far as semester and terminal question is concerned, this particular unit has gained importance because it is a backbone of India. So that is why there will be one question in green revolution, there will be one question in NITI AAYOG, and some other question like what is plan holidays, why planning commission was abolished. This kind of question you can expect. And any 2 5-year plan will be asked right from 1st to 12th. And in section C, you can expect 2 questions. One is about explain the different 5-year plans. And one more question is how you distinguish NITI AAYOG and planning commission. So these are the possible questions in your semester end examination. With this, I'm ending the class. Thank you for watching this video. And if you have any doubt, you can post or you can contact me. Thank you. Thank you very much.